Today, let's talk about friendship. Friends add a wonderful dimension to our lives. They help us celebrate the good times and they help us make it through the tough times. But there is more to a good relationship than just the fun of it. Science shows that having a strong, supportive social network or even just one supportive relationship can be vital to your well-being. Social support has been associated with lower levels of stress and greater levels of happiness. It can improve your overall health and sense of well-being and even increase longevity. Social support is defined as the behaviors that communicate caring and facilitate coping with stress by providing information, help, or resources. Not all types of social support are the same though. It is important to make time to nurture relationships that add meaning to your life and that are truly supportive. Studies show that a sense of belonging is extremely important for emotional health and well-being. Those who have social support but don't feel a sense of belonging are much more likely to suffer from depression, for example. Different forms of social support have different benefits. For example, you might need emotional support, which includes the sharing of positive interactions such as validation of your sense of self and concern about your feelings. This is the friend that is always there to offer you a shoulder to cry on or to cheer you up. You might need informational support, which involves the sharing of advice or information on a topic that can help you when you're experiencing a challenge that you don't know how to handle. This type of support can be obtained when you seek expert advice or you join support groups, from mom groups for new moms to AA for problems with addiction. Another type of support that you can look for is the tangible support, which is the one that involves the sharing of resources. This can include organizations providing financial loans or sharing childcare duties with your network of friends with kids. It could be supporting a friend going through a transition from more serious ones like grieving to more trivial ones like moving to a new house. Finally, you might enjoy a belonging type of support, which involves social belonging and entertainment, like when you join a book club or a running team, or it could be as simple as spending time with an old friend who may feel alone or is going through a rough time. One study from the University of Utah examined the effects of different types of social support among married couples and found that emotional, tangible, and informational support all helped lower blood pressure when individuals were faced with stress. We all know that when we have had a hard day, being able to talk to a friend about our feelings, it's all it takes sometimes to turn things around and transform stress into connection and maybe a laughter. Being truly listened to can have profound effects on us. First, because it can make problems seem more manageable, and second, it can make us feel less alone in dealing with them. This can help us look at things from a different perspective and improve our perception of stress and the way our brain reacts to it. Finally, the effects of actual contact, like a hug or holding hands, can increase our oxytocin and endorphin production and reduce the effects of stress on our body and mind. Social support and supportive relationships, in fact, have been widely studied as factors that minimize the effects of stress. The results of this research are astonishing. Good supportive relationships have been shown to be a great remedy for making stressful situations less damaging to our mental and physical health. Supportive relationships have been associated with improved health outcomes and decreased mortality risk. A review article analyzed all the research studies done on the effects of social support and showed that overall, social support increased by 50% the likelihood of survival for participants with stronger relationships. And these findings are consistent across age, sex, health status, and causes of death. Another research study has documented the many physiological and mental health benefits of social support, including improved immune, cardiovascular, and neuroendocrine functions, positive coping with chronic disease, reduction in depression and anxiety, and protection against the negative effects of stress. Have you had the experience of just telling a friend about a stressful problem, and if that friend is particularly good at listening, you didn't even need any advice? As if the act of feeling heard and understood was all you needed to access your own wisdom and come up with your own solution. So creating a circle of supportive relationship is worth it in terms of benefit to your general health and well-being. But be careful, not all social support is created equal. Sadly, it's possible to have a large group of connections but still feel lonely. This is what happens to many people who are socially isolated despite having friends through social media. In fact, research that measured the closeness of social media relationships showed social poverty or a lack of social support among social media users. In addition, science is showing more and more that the effect of social media per se can be a great stressor, especially when it comes to limiting beliefs and self-esteem. Another way the stress-relieving effects of social support can be diminished is by hostility. All relationships are not equally supported, and conflicted relationships might not actually serve you and can bring significant amounts of chronic stress into your life. Like when you talk to a friend about something that's bothering you and that friend responds with sarcasm or passive-aggressive hostility, and you feel worse rather than better. Not only are you still upset about what was stressing you, but now you might also feel hurt by your friend's lack of empathy, and you might question your own feelings and self-esteem. An interesting study from Brigham Young University confirms that in situations where people were discussing with a friend the negative events that caused them stress, those subjects who scored high in hostile responses had elevated blood pressure compared to non-hostile subjects. And this was true for those giving and receiving support. Another study found that the type of listening and emotional support offered actually makes a difference in terms of more or less stress. For example, if a partner offered too much advice, especially if it was unsolicited, it created more stress than it relieved. This may seem counterintuitive to a partner who only wants to help minimize the stress by fixing the problem. However, when advice is offered, it might be perceived as a subtle indication that you cannot come up with your own solution. The frustration that can result for the partner who really just wanted emotional support could create feelings of disempowerment and ultimately make the stressed person feel as they are now dealing with an additional conflict. These results show both the importance of having good listening skills and of working hard to foster strong, trusting relationships with the people who are close to us, so we can give and receive the type of support that is beneficial for everyone. Generally, avoiding conflict is better than engaging in an argument, but it's much more beneficial to learn to communicate in a way that encompasses empathy, compassion, and maybe even some fun and humor. For this reason, it is important to practice healthy boundaries and learn who you can and cannot go to with your problems. And now you know that in avoiding non-supporting friends, you're saving stress for both of you. Often, we hold on to relationships that are not beneficial for us out of habit or a sense of loyalty. Of course, letting go of a relationship is never easy and can be a stressful process per se. However, knowing that negative relationships can actually harm you might help you decide when to let go of a relationship that is no longer serving you. Special attention is needed for couples. Research has found that couples who support each other and share responsibilities are the happiest. It is intuitive that if your spouse is able to support you through stressful times, you both benefit because you both feel less stressed. The good news is that these marriages also tend to last longer. We will talk more about stress and couples in another episode. The take-home message from today's episode is that knowing what type of support to give and receive is vital for your health and well-being, and that Relationships in which people feel supported have a strong protective effect against stress. Again, the key for self-care is to cultivate awareness. On one hand, don't assume that you know what type of support your loved one needs. It's always best to check in to see if the support you're offering is helpful. On the other hand, be aware of what type of support you need, so you can communicate it to your loved ones and ask for what you need instead of expecting people to read your mind. This skill is called assertiveness, and cultivating it can help you reduce the stress in all of your relationships because it teaches you how to establish healthy boundaries and reduce stress for everyone involved. I hope this knowledge encourages you to build strong, supportive, and compassionate relationships in your life. And never forget that you have the power to harness your stress into growth, health, and happiness. Now tell me, do you have supporting relationships in your life that make you feel truly understood, accepted, and loved? Write your comment in the comment box on the blog page and let me know. Thank you so much for being my friend. Your support means the world to me. Ciao.